We remember the SG of KUPPET, even early 2000, where if they called for a strike, everything came to a standstill and the government had to listen. Are we saying that there's a challenge in that right now, that KUPPET and KNUT, for example, you can speak for KUPPET, are not as effective as they were a few years back?
Thank you for that question. I want to answer that question this way, that currently unions operate under collective bargaining agreements. These agreements run within a given period of time. In our case, is around 4 years. And during this time, unions agree to commit with some agreements with an employer for a period. For example, we signed a CBA between 2025-2029. And in that document, we have agreed, we have some basic agreements with the employer that we shall do A, B, C, D to be able to have harmony in the education sector. And any party that goes against this agreement, because this agreement is usually registered in court, and it becomes a court order. And therefore, unions now must tread carefully when they are calling for agitation or a policy change. So it's a thin balance that
your hands are tied.
Yes,
simply you're saying that.
That's what happens. You compare the unions of 1990s, issues to do with CBAs were not there. But you see, we are now having a legal document that was brought on board to be able to manage or bring peaceful coexistence between the unions and the government. And therefore, when we are coming out to agitate on these issues, therefore we must look at, we are already in a CBA, and we also want some other issues to be done. And this is why we cannot amorphously come out very strongly, because we must look at legally what is binding us and what can we be able to do. And that's why when we want to come out, we must be very clear on what we want to achieve, maybe by looking at our binding agreement that we already have with the employer. So that's where the gap comes in.
Yes, yet it's obvious that teachers are not happy, and they feel that their union should do something. They talk about issues like the medical SHA, and they have their own complaints. Yesterday the headline screamed, teachers reject SHA. Now there are issues with the contracts for the intern teachers. Are we saying that unions, especially the ones in the education sector, have been effectively boxed into failure to manage the issues that their members are raising?
Unions have not failed, and that is why we are seeing agitation across Kenya. That is the work of the unions, that we must have continuous agitation on issues that are affecting our members. Like now we have been having a serious agitation on issues of SHA. Around 2 weeks ago, SHA has been running a bit well, until around 2 or 3 weeks ago that they brought in limits, curbings, that, especially on outpatient services. And therefore we came out strongly and demanded for an explanation from the CS and the CEO of SHA. And through that agitation, we were able to have a meeting. And as I even speak today, we have a meeting that we are going to discuss on these issues in Naivasha from tomorrow and starting tomorrow and again on Thursday. So if it were not for our agitation and asking questions, coming out strongly and saying that healthcare is not something that we can joke around with. That's why we have been given this audience to streamline the issues that are affecting SHA. On the issues of interns, I am a beneficiary of union agitation. I was recruited in 2010 during an internship program like this one. By that time, we were being called contract teachers. When I remember the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was the CS of Treasury. But unions came out strongly when they wanted to extend these contract issues with teachers. They came out strongly, and KUPPET came out strongly in 2011. And they staged a serious strike that made us get confirmed, around 18,000 of us. And that's why we are saying, if we benefited from that, we can also know, court has already declared this thing. Actually, court used 3 strong words. It's illegal, that's one, unconstitutional, and discriminatory.
Yet it continues happening.
Yes.
You said how effective it was in 2011. What has changed this 15, 16 years later?
I've already explained why.
So your hands are now tied?
A bit because of the new constitution and all that.
Okay.
But you see, court has declared this thing illegal on 27th of February. There was a supplementary budget that was done at the end of March. If the government was responsible enough, a government that loves education, What the government could have done is to feature these amounts in the supplementary budget of the 44,000 interns. But you see, court has declared, under a court of appeal, the second highest court in Kenya, has ruled on 27th of February. You are preparing a supplementary budget at the end of March, and then you are doing nothing. But we are seeing you all over spending money, campaigns have started, and we are becoming an irresponsible government on issues that are so critical to this nation.
Hold that thought, Isaac, because we need to, James, because we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up on this before we focus on the curriculum. Yes, you're watching TV47 Breakfast. This morning we're focusing on matters education, state of education we call it. We'll continue this discussion after the break.